Hi, my name's Lauren Sapala. I'm a writer and a writing coach, and next week I'm releasing a new video course for sensitive intuitive writers all about toxic procrastination and crippling perfectionism. This is for writers who have severe procrastination and perfectionism, like can't start anything, can't finish anything, and are in a great deal of mental pain about it. I'm doing a little video mini series to answer questions about the course before I release it, and also just to cover a few of the things I'll be talking about in the course so you can get a little taste of it and decide if it's for you. So first of all, I want to say thank you everyone who responded to the last video I sent out in this series about why different systems of productivity tend to make it worse on the procrastination and perfectionism fronts for people. I heard from so many of you who said, oh yeah, like that's me. I tried David Allen and it ended in disaster. And I'm raising my hand here too. I've also tried David Allen and ended in disaster. So thank you guys for letting me know that really spoke to you and that you're looking for something different. This video course that I'm releasing, it's called You Are a Writer, Getting Past the Fear and Finally Moving Forward, takes a radically different approach to procrastination and perfectionism than anything you've seen before. It is specifically designed for intuitive right brain people. So it's going to be a way different course. In this video, I want to talk a bit about comparison syndrome and why and how comparison syndrome hits sensitive intuitive writers so hard. Writers who are struggling with these very severe forms of procrastination and perfectionism, comparison syndrome comes in a lot, and it's a really big thing for us. So it's not just like, you see someone else win an award and you feel kind of envious, and then an hour later you're okay. For writers who are really struggling with the deep-rooted procrastination and perfectionism, comparison syndrome comes in all the time, and it's not something you just bounce back from. It's something that can hit you very hard, and you can be, down for the count for days, even weeks, while you go through kind of almost a total self-esteem collapse at points. So let's look at comparison syndrome quickly first. When I say comparison syndrome, obviously it's comparing yourself to other people. And if you're a writer, that means you're looking around at maybe your writer friends or the people you see on Twitter or other writers' blogs. And when those people are getting published, winning contests, winning awards, even just finishing their novel, it can be a small milestone, but when they're hitting milestones, you see that and you immediately feel envious. You don't just feel envious, though. There's a second piece to this that's very important. You feel envious, and that's quickly followed up by a feeling of worthlessness. So your self-esteem takes a really big hit. It's not just that you want what they have, though, of course, you want to finish your book. You want to get published, too, of course. But you also feel kind of like total garbage. You kind of really sit and question your worth as a human being, and you're like, I suck, I'm a loser, I'm never going to get that, I'm never going to have that, and I'm never going to get or have that because I'm a total failure as a writer, I'm a total failure as a human being. So it's a really heavy, icky feeling, and it's really hard to deal with. It's kind of like this dense energy that just pulls you down into this vortex. So why do writers who have procrastination and perfectionism, why does comparison syndrome hit them so hard? This is because these types of writers were almost always raised in a home where they were taught that their feelings did not matter. They were either explicitly giving that message, like either mom or dad was like, hey, shut up, don't cry, like no crying in this family. Like it was a very clear message. Or it might have just been sort of implied. Every time they brought up something in the home, something emotional they were going through, it was dismissed, it was ignored, it went unacknowledged. So they did not feel seen, they did not feel heard. So how does this tie into comparison syndrome? This ties in because in a home where you're taught that the feelings don't matter, right hand in hand with that, you are taught that what does matter is external appearances. What does matter, what is important, is how you look to the outside world, how the neighbors see you, how the community sees you, how the church sees you, the people at your school, mom or dad's friends, like the country club. Whatever external groups or organizations you are surrounded by, that's where your parents really urge you to focus. So you need to look good on the outside at all times. You need to get the straight A's, win the awards, and at the very least, not have messy emotions that mom or dad don't want to connect with and don't want to deal with. So What we have to do to start unraveling this kind of sticky ball of ickiness with the comparison syndrome and the procrastination, the perfectionism, we have to start with our feelings. We have to start with the inside and knowing that our feelings do matter. We have to start acknowledging our own feelings. And that's where we begin our practice of creativity is from this emotional space within us, this feeling place within us. And it's so important we do this because we were given that message so strongly in childhood that our feelings didn't matter, and so self-expression is not okay. That's what we came out of it with, is that self-expression is not okay. And if you do speak your truth, if you do push past that disapproval from the people in your home, and you are messy and you are emotional, the love is going to be withdrawn. Right? You're going to be disapproved of. You might be outcast from the family. You might be rejected from the tribe. That's a really primitive fear to be triggered in someone. So now as an adult, when you sit down and you do try to self-express, all this stuff comes like roaring to the surface and you don't know why. So what happens is you sit down and you decide to write, I'm going to start my memoir, I'm going to start my novel. And then this fear takes over, this overwhelming anxiety takes over. And the procrastination, the perfectionism kicks in harder than ever. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in our second video, is how even after you have determined to sit down and speak your truth and really dig up this old stuff, once you sit down and do that, the procrastination, the perfectionism really kicks in harder. And why? What's at the root of that? We've all heard, procrastination, perfectionism, it's the same thing. It's a fear of failure. It's a fear of success. That might be true. Those are certain facets of the issue, but there's a much deeper, uglier root to it. And that's what I'm going to be teaching in the course. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in the next video, the third and last video in this series, the true hidden cause of procrastination and perfectionism. So the course is going to be releasing in just a few days. I always do a 5-day window when I launch of a pretty steep discount on the course. So if this is speaking to you, if you're like, yes, this is me, like I've never finished anything, I've never started anything, my memoir is like burning inside of me and I can't get it out. I know I have a novel in me, but I can't get it out. If this is resonating with you hardcore, please sign up for my newsletter. You'll get all the updates. You'll get all the announcements on the course as it's released, and you'll get that really steep discount when it comes out. And I always try to discount it nicely to make sure it is affordable. I know people are on a budget, but if this is something you need, I really suggest that you get on it. So be on the lookout for it next week. Again, that discount will last 5 days. I will see all of you in the third and last video in my little mini series, The True Hidden Cause of Procrastination and Perfectionism. Until then, happy writing.